Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial. My name is Salim. Today we show you how to use a motor using SolidWorks to drive a motion. However, the main purpose of this tutorial is how to solve the troubleshooting with a motor, especially when using multiple. Let's look to Motion Manager user interface. Here we have a desk fan in the graphic area of SolidWorks. This is a feature manager design tree. Here the model tab. Here the motion study tab. So you can here add, just click on. If you needed to add a more motion study, you can either right click and create a new motion study. Don't confuse between create new design study and the motion study. So when I add create a new motion study, it will be added here. If I need to rename, for right click on it and click rename, or you can click on insert a new motion study. That's he can add in motion study tab a new motion. For the motion manager components, we have here the motion manager design tree. This is the type, motion study type, so you can select animation, basic, or study motion. So here in the motion study type, I have only animation and basic motion. If I need motion analysis, I can add it from add in, select SolidWorks motion, select OK. So I will have a motion analysis if I need to make analysis on motion. So I will focus in this tutorial on in animations. I will delete these motions. Here we have the timeline. This is named as a timeline. This is a time bar. If I needed to create a motion so I can drag the timeline anywhere in the timing. Especially I can specify 5 seconds, 4 seconds, whatever. I can move it by other method. For example, I can click on the bar, right click, and move it time. If I need to select a special time with decimal, for example 3.2, the bar automatically will move to the desired timing. Now let's define what does mean defining a motor in SolidWorks. When you define a motor, there are 3 inputs that control what is actually moving. The first thing is the motor location. The components to be moved by the motors. Second, the motor direction. The motor direction is defined by an edge or axis. And the third one, the components to move relative to. This is the component that the moving components moves relative to. So in this example, or in our case, in this case study, we will examine a sample model of a fan desk. It uses 2 motors to run, one to rotate the fan blades, and the second is to oscillate the fan, oscillating the fan. So next we show you how to add a motor to control these 2 movements. First thing, I will select here, I make sure that your time bar is at 0, or select motor. So I need that the base oscillate around the y-axis. So I select this face. The face will be highlighted here. Don't select components to move relative to. So here I need that the movement will be oscillating around the y-axis. So in a motion, I will select oscillating. So I will define the motor as 135 seconds for the displacement, and for frequency 01, and the phase shift 90 degrees. So I can click here to enlarge the graph. So when I click here, I get the displacement to 135. But what's happening exactly? What's happened? You must understand that SolidWorks by default add 5 seconds as a time. So to solve this problem, what I should do, I will select OK. It will add the motor here for 5 seconds. I can rename the motor by click and press the F2 keyboard to rename. This is a way to don't confuse between two motors. This I will name it as base rotation, and here I must drag the key point to 9 seconds. Okay, when I come back to my motor edit and click in the graph, I get 135 seconds for the displacement. So click OK. So let's calculate an animation and see what's happened. So the motor is moving, driving the base to rotate around y-axis. This motor is working fine without any problem. So now I need to add the second motor. So I must drag the timeline to 0 seconds. So this motor is working fine. So I need to add a new motor. So the best way is to suppress this motor. Don't delete. Delete will remove the motor from feature motion design tree. So I need to suppress the motor, add a new motor to the blade. So I select the blade, this is rotation, and I will select under motion constant speed 55 rpm. Okay, I will calculate the animation. Fine, the blade is working fine without problem, and I saw that the first motor for the base rotation is working fine. So I need to rename. Just click on rotary motor and press the F2 from the keyboard to rename it as blade rotation. Fine. So now I need to press the motor, the first motor, and calculate the animation. What's happened? Only the blade rotating. Only the blade is working fine without the base. So even though both motors worked correctly when run individually, together the blade rotate, but the base does not. Here, the main point here is that the motor don't solve correctly. So to solve this problem, I need to come back, move the time bar to the 0 second, right click the base rotation, edit, and I will select in the components to move relative to the base, stationary fan, and select OK. And for the second motor, edit a feature. For the components, move relative to, I will select the fan motor and I select OK. So I start my animation from there. I need to calculate. So look what's happened. The two motors now are working. Now we can conclude that the initial cause of this problem was the conflict between the two motors. Therefore, SolidWorks could not solve both of these conditions simultaneously, which resulted in only one of the motors working correctly. Very important, and you must keep it in mind when you have multiple motors in animation and they don't solve correctly. The most likely cause is a conflict between what you have defined. Thank you for watching.